McConnell and Leader McCarthy and Speaker Pelosi and Majority Leader Schumer. And what we're going to talk about today is, you know, when I ran, I said I wasn't going to be a Democratic president. I was going to be a president for all Americans. And what the bottom line here is, we're going to see whether we can reach some consensus on a compromise on moving forward. We're going to talk a lot about infrastructure today to see if there's any way we can reach a compromise that gets the people's work done and is within the bounds of everyone agreeing. And that's the purpose of this meeting. Not much more to say right now, but we're going to get going. That's it.
How do you expect to do that, sir? How do you expect to
Easy. Just snap my fingers. It'll happen.
Mike, the president has said time and time again that he is willing to compromise with Republicans on this infrastructure bill. I think the question becomes compromise how much and compromise on what parts of it.
Well, first of all, Craig, I should say, as somebody who has been in the Oval Office for what you just saw and heard, we call them pool sprays. They are just as chaotic as that sounded, especially on a day like today when there are so many subjects that you want to ask the president about. And it sounded like all the reporters were asking them at once. You did hear him respond to this question, though, of how would you reach compromise with Republicans? And he made light of it, joked that he can just snap his fingers. Obviously, he knows it's much harder than that. You heard him also refer to one of the key promises he made to voters during the campaign, that he wanted to reach across the aisle to work with Republicans in Congress. In fact, he said during the campaign that that wasn't just his preference, that it's a necessity for governing. He said the country would be in trouble if that doesn't happen. But Craig, he also made some other bold promises, especially a progressive agenda that he said would make him the most progressive president since Franklin Roosevelt. And so the obvious question is, how do you reconcile those two? I started saying before we heard of those comments that it's a measure of the strategy of the White House, that the meetings he's had before this one with Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema on the Democratic side, and the meeting that he has tomorrow with West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito, the lead Republican negotiator, are probably the more important meetings than the one that we're seeing right now, even as important typically as that Big Four meeting is. The White House has been clear that they do want to try to find efforts to compromise. I spoke with the Legislative Affairs Director for the White House in the last few days. She noted that there were more than 130 meetings at the White House with members of Congress in the president's first 100 days. They are doing this one at a time, taking this seriously. But when you look back at the way Joe Biden has negotiated throughout his career, and he has reached compromises with Republicans before, it's been because he knows where Republicans stand and he's able to find that common ground. When is this meeting happening, Craig? It's after the House Republicans just purged from their leadership somebody who was critical of the former president. Former President Trump's shadow really does loom large over the party. And you've heard the president say this in recent weeks, that he, frankly, wants a strong Republican Party. He wants a negotiating party partner, but he doesn't really have one right now. And so that really does lead to what so many Democrats are saying, that they're just skeptical. There is ultimately Republicans willing to put themselves out there and reach across the aisle for the middle, and why they think they're going to ultimately have to go this alone.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.